Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Depths, and this is going to be another quick little discussion video. I'm more or less trying to grind out this event and finish it off before it ends because it's almost at that point. But with me clearing Giga Hard pretty reliably, I'm actually doing it in a very nice pace. But anyways, what I'm mainly trying to talk about is the game I'm designing and everything, because I'm kind of wanting to go over some things with that. So the whole thing with this is the fact that I've released a demo for who knows how long now. I think it's been about 4 months at least. And the whole thing with that is that I'm hoping a lot of people played it or whatever, and I'm actually asking for quite a bit of feedback about it, trying to figure out what to go about things and whatnot. And I'm trying to more or less figure out how I'm going to advance things in the game. But it's more or less trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it and whatnot. What people liked, what people didn't like, try to go from there. And then there's also some changes I blatantly wanted to do about the game as well. So that's the whole thing with that. So I more or less wanted to pretty much ask for practically whatever people liked in their feedback. And that's the general thing about that. But the game I play and test it before trying to release a demo, so I try to get some things covered beforehand. Not everything's perfect, I can honestly say that, and then there's a few things I found out later down the line that I actually want to add into it, but I more or less thought it came out pretty nice, so I was generally trying to get more feedback on that and everything. But the thing is, I just want people to try it out if they haven't. If you have tried it out, what could you suggest, and among other things? And I'm more or less just trying to get that. But I might even do some more about it later down the line after I finish off the Let's Play of it, because I've pretty much put that on hold. Because I left off at the Aqua Chapel, which is an unfinished part, but it's still got stuff you can do. I just haven't added storyline cutscenes and whatnot, but the fights and all that are going to be as is. I don't think I'm going to change how the game's a little bit balanced too much, because the general damage and formulas is practically set, and I'd have to go through all that again. Trust me when I say this, I tried to get the calculation as best as I possibly could for the time being. When I add more stuff, I might have to change it. I do have to balance out a few things, like the ultimate attacks are probably going to deal less. But the thing is, I'm also going to make it so you'll end up having, like, less HP to deal with and whatnot. Because that's the whole thing with that. It's kind of hard talking and playing this at the same time. I gotta, like, pay attention to strategy and whatnot. But, yeah, I'm going to try and do some balancing. I'm going to definitely add some more stuff. Like, for instance, you've seen the preview for Narissa's extra ability, well, not ability, extra transformation she's going to end up having. Yeah, she's not going to be the only one, but that's the only one I want to reveal for the time being. I more or less wanted to put a little bit more hype on stuff that you may or may not know about the game, depending on if you played it or not. But that's the whole thing with that. And then on top of that too, I definitely do have to do some difficulty balancing, because the way it's looking is going to be very awkward and very hard to pull off. HP is definitely going to be the same. Like, the HP multiplier is going to be the same. I definitely wanted to be a 5 times multiplier for that one on the hardest difficulty. And for the easiest, it's going to be like roughly half the HP, maybe 20%. I don't know where I'm going to go with that one. I don't want it to be too easy on the easiest difficulty, and I don't want it to be too hard, if that makes any sense. Because I'm more or less trying to make it so it's like, okay, newer players can still hop into this, but it won't be so ridiculously easy it makes them want for more. But even then, it's like, if you set it that low, you can still turn it up higher. But at the same time, I don't want people to go on deadly difficulty and just be like, oh, hey, this stuff's too hard, I'm not playing that. Because I want all the difficulties to be considered based on how good you think you are, and and how much risk versus reward you want. Because if you notice, you change the difficulties, you get more rewards or less depending on where it is. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you less rewards when you do lower difficulties. I don't want people sitting up spamming it for easy wins. So, for instance, I do believe I have it set so you get, like, half EXP for the time being. I don't know why I made her use her ability right there, but hey, that just wore out. But, yeah, that's the whole thing. Half EXP for, like, lower difficulties and maybe 75% for easy. But then when you go to, say, Deadly, you're getting, like, 5 times it, stuff like that. It's not set in stone to be that way, but it's just stuff I wanted to go over. But also, another blatant change that's going to definitely happen is how you get the, how you get all the rewards and stuff, too. Like the unlockable, changes in, like, I'd say equipment, and then also how you get the transformations and all that. It's hard to remember all the stuff I put in there because I did a lot with that game. But yeah, there's like abilities you can find, there's transformations you can unlock. I'm hopefully putting in a little summon system for the aura spirits because they're the reason why you can even transform anyways. But then on top of that too, I may or may not change what magic can be learned because granted everybody can learn a little bit of each element except for one if you paid attention. Like Kazuka's not learning fire, for instance. But I might cut that down too because I want them to focus on specific things. I want them to stand out a little bit more to make them different from each other, but still have some stuff similar. Like, I don't want it so it's like, okay, only one of them can learn buffs, for instance. And then I don't want it so it's like, only one of them's able to heal you. I want all of them to be able to learn that, but I may change what extent they can do that to. But the elements will definitely be locked behind each character, more or less, because I want them all to specifically focus on that. I mean, their ultimates are based off of it if you paid attention, for those that have played. And that's the main thing I want about that one. It's like, I want them to have some differences and have a little bit of uniqueness because, let's face it, uniqueness is what makes a character stand out. Because quite frankly, outside of the storyline, the Final Fantasy VII characters didn't have too much splitting them up and making them different. Because that's how it ended up being in the game. I've played it, trust me. When you get past the overhype, you start noticing a whole bunch of stuff. Because seriously, Final Fantasy VII is one of the most overhyped games, and I'm not trying to make it like that. It's like, Final Fantasy VII had enough going for it to actually make it a very good game. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that's a blatant problem that I didn't like. Hopefully the remake fixes that. But that's stuff that I'm trying to avoid in my game. So that's the whole thing with that. Because that's the biggest thing about trying to be a game developer and whatnot. You're trying to, like, take examples from other stuff. And hopefully don't make the same mistakes. It's like implement your own ways about going about things. But, anyways, definite stuff that you can look forward to when I update things. I'm going to have a phone version of the next demo, because the next demo is going to be the final one, trust me. But I'll have a phone update of the next demo. I'm going to end up having the demo cover a lot more up till like chapter 2 start. Okay, I'm not too far off from finishing this off. But yeah, chapter 2 start is going to have it in there, because I wanted to go up to Alinea and then finish the first visit to Alinea, because you're going to go back there. I wanted to finish that off and then maybe go a little bit past that. I don't know. Because Alinea is going to be the point where you start getting introduced to other characters than just the main 3. So you're going to start seeing the game split off into other playable characters. I'm planning on having that. So that's one thing to know about. There will be other playable characters than just Kazuka, Narissa, and Kazuya. So that's one thing to look forward to. But they'll all have their own unique gold standards and all that. And I I have an idea of trying to change Narissa's weapon because I'm not too happy about her having a rapier because it doesn't seem too much different from the swords that Kazuka and Kazuya have. And even those don't seem different because one's literally a blade and one's a sword. There's a difference, but you can't tell how RPG Maker pretty much did their weapons. So I may have to go back to her original concept and having her with a bow. If you played not Final Fantasy, why am I thinking of that game? If you played Criss Chronicles Sagas, the whole weapon system was a little bit different for characters. So like some had some obvious stuff like say Luna having a claw, but the rest had a bow in there. And I think I'm gonna go back to that. She kind of fits as an archer too, for some strange little reason, and I don't know why. But I always felt like she seems like an archer type character. So that's the whole thing with that. But heck, I may even get Kazuya a gun if I can sip and get that program correctly. But that means I'd have to change how their skill animations are and everything. And that's another thing too. One major thing of why some stuff is lagging is because of how many hits it's dealing and all that. I may have to cut down the hits or just outright remove multiple hits entirely. Because the whole thing with that is the fact that it's going to end up like making the game lag a little bit when it tries to rack up damage. That means I have to recalculate their formulas, but it doesn't have to do the raw damage, thankfully. Like for instance, one attack might end up doing like say 10 times your strength, but in the form of 5 hits, so it'd be like 2 times your strength stat. So that's something that's easy to manipulate. Should I change all that stuff? Because some things are having like 10, 20 hits. And that's what's making it lag, to be quite honest. Because it's like all those hits popping up on screen. I mean, it's not so bad once it's loaded a few times, but it's still an issue. And I haven't found a fix for lag. So that's how it's going to end up being. So if I have to cut down hits, sorry guys. There might even be a possibility I might have to just outright remove multiple hits and just have one flat out hit pop up at the end. Even though I really want stuff to have like 20, 30 hits and stuff like that to make it look flashy as hell. Presentation is indeed key. So that's the main thing I wanted for all of that. But one final thing I also got to mention about that too is the fact that when I do release the next demo, I have no more intentions of taking feedback. Like, I'm just going to start building the game from there. Because I do plan on it being 13 chapters long, and for me to say the second demo is only going to start off like maybe chapter 2, yeah, that's a lot. Sorry, my voice is a little bit off too, because I may or may not be getting a little bit sick. My throat's kind of bothering me already. I hope not, because every time I swallow, I feel it in my throat a little bit. I'm trying to get that crap out of my system before it starts. But, yeah, that's the major thing about all that. I do have to do some changes and whatnot. I am trying to take feedback now because, like I said, second demo, not going to happen. I'm going to be set in stone at that point, and I hate to say it, but anybody that doesn't like anything in the game is going to have to wait until, hopefully, a sequel. But, that's the whole thing with that. Because I did originally plan for a sequel, just in case people did like it. If they don't like it enough, then the sequel won't happen. But if they do, the sequel will. And that's the other thing, too. This is going to be a free game. So enjoy it. The sequel will not be. So that's the whole thing with that. But anyways, that's all I really got to say for all of this. I can't really think of anything else. Just play the game yourself, because the demo's got a lot to work with, even after you clear the supposed storyline. So just do all that and you're good to go. But anyways, that's all I got for this. more stuff's gonna come soon, especially me trying to finish off the Aqua Chapel and all that, because I gotta level up a little bit in order to do that, and I do all that stuff on camera, so that kind of makes it a little bit easier. But anyways, that's all for this video, guys. I'm going to be pretty much grinding this out because I supposedly have 2 more hours in it, and I'm almost done too. So yeah, that's a thing. Also, these login bonuses are nice. They give you 5 free gacha tickets every 10 days. That is incredible. And then the mystery bag might feed you some good stuff. I like this login bonus. This is actually pretty good for free players. I like this type of game. It can be pretty good for free players, I will admit that much. It's still expensive as hell if you actually want to put the money into it, so I'd advise against that. But anyways, back on point. More Criss Chronicles stuff is going to pop up soon, and yes, I'm replacing Metallica because I like Tifa a lot more now. But more Criss Chronicles is going to come soon, eventually. And then on top of that, play the demo if you haven't already, because I'm looking for a lot of feedback, guys. Trust me. I've seen the view counter on that thing. It's getting almost to 700. I'm hoping somebody's going to look at this and go, oh, hey, maybe I can get some feedback or whatnot. But anyways, spread word about it too, because that's what really helps it as well. Because that's the one thing I want to spread word about more than anything else. I may have asked for views on other stuff, but that Criss Chronicles thing, that's the one I want the most views on, because again, that's something I'm coming up with. I'm trying to get it out there. So the only way to really get it out there is to have it put out there, if that makes sense. But anyways, I'm going to stop talking a little bit because I feel like my throat's a little bit bothering me, and I'm going to try and get that crap out of my system as well. Because I'm hopefully not getting sick. If I am, I'm going to try and shut that down before it starts. But that's all for this. Very next video is definitely going to be Kamihime Project, because that one, we're definitely getting a new event pretty soon. I think it may even be in maintenance by the time I put this video up. So, yeah. And I'm trying to do this event before maintenance ends too, so I'm going to try and get full focus on that. But that's all for now, guys. One last time, give the demo a shot. You may like it, you may not. And like I said, feedback. If you don't like it, put some feedback in there. I'll try to change it. But anyways, that's all for now, guys. Take care.